Howdy, friends. Steve DePaul here with the Rose Realty team with this week's Real Estate Live for North Texas. Today's topic, finding your next home. Now, I've done something like this or the home selling process or a home buying process a couple of times this year. And this is really, frankly, a real popular a topic. I get asked about this a lot of times, and a lot of people have asked me through emails and texts if I could do more about finding your next home. And I hope this kind of helps them out with what they're looking for. So first of all, the first step is set your goals and priorities. Okay, you got to understand why you want to move and what that next move looks like. So do you want to access better schools for your kids, newer, less maintenance free, more maintenance free house? Maybe you're tired of throwing money down the drain because you're renting. Okay, what's your motivation? And why you're looking for a new house is sort of something we should put down on a piece of paper and understand, what we're looking for. Determine your budget. Now, what a lot of the banks and lenders use is what's called a 28-36 rule. And so what that means is 28% of your gross monthly income should go or could go to housing, and 36% to all other long-term debt. Okay. Now, a lot of banks have eased that. There's one that I think I spoke to recently that was more 50-50. But anyway, you got to get an understanding of your budget, what your budget looks like, because what you don't want to do is two things. You don't want to be, number one, house poor, okay? And number two, you don't want to be struggling getting a part-time job in order to make payments and those kinds of things from day one, okay? So understand what your budget is probably the most important. Location, where you choose to buy is oftentimes as important or more important as to what you choose to buy. Okay, I'm going to give you sort of a different example. Working with a client who wants to build, okay, and we were looking for lots, and they kept on sending me lots. How about this lot? How about that lot? Well, the house that they were looking to build was probably 2 or 3 times better or bigger than any of the houses in the neighborhood. So I discouraged them from building in that neighborhood, because as soon as they moved in, the valuation on the house would go down because the surrounding neighborhood wasn't quite as good as the house that they were planning on building. So you've got to understand where you are compared to everybody else, okay, in the neighborhood, so that you commit the neighborhood. Not only that, but also where you are in terms of major highways. If you're a commuter and you got to go into downtown Dallas or Fort Worth, you want to be like close to 35, those kinds of things, right? And so you have to understand where you are in comparison to what you're going to, your lifestyle, where you work, the neighborhood, all those kinds of things. And you want to make sure that it's conducive to your lifestyle and where you want to be. Needs versus wants. So it's a good idea to have a list of needs and wants when you start looking for a house. So needs are number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, okay, office. You need to have a pool, whatever. Versus wants. Now that pool I just mentioned usually is on the wants side as opposed to the need side, but it depends on your family, your lifestyle, what you're doing. And so you may not get all your needs and you may not get all your wants for your budget, but it's good to put them down so that you understand what we're looking for. So we just don't want to look for, a new house in Roanoke, okay, or Trophy Club. But because there's all kinds of houses in Trophy Club, but we want to know how many bedrooms to look for and how many bathrooms and whether we want a media room or what have you. And so it's a good idea to write these things down so that we have a good script to look at in terms of where we're going to be and where we want to be. Basically talk to your agent. Okay, give me a call and we'll set an appointment to get those needs and wants and budgets and locations. Okay, so we know where to look. Hey, you don't want to just look in the metroplex, because the metroplex is very diverse, which is a great thing. But you may want, Frisco may not be your place, and maybe Flower Mound, or Louisville may not be your place, and maybe Roanoke, something like that. So you want to kind of narrow it down, in terms of where you're looking. Your agent can help you with that. We can help you with that. And so you want to narrow that down in order to make the job easier, because I don't want to show you 1,700 homes in the Metroplex. What I'd rather show you is those 10 homes or those 5 homes that are really going to knock your socks off. I hope that was enlightening. I got more information on that. Just give me a call. I'll be happy to talk you through that. Next week, the housing market and millennials. So millennials right now are like the biggest single buying group for housing. And we want to talk about how the housing market is affecting and working with those millennials. This is Steve DePaul with the Rose Realty Team. I'm going to bounce.